Hello, my name is Jane, and this is eighth video in a series of interviews where I talk to different alumni from different universities all across the USA. In this specific video, I'll be talking to an alumni from Tufts University. I think this video turned out really great, and I hope you enjoy. Let's begin. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm also doing well. So first off, what was your major and graduation year from Tufts?
I majored in biopsychology and I graduated in 2020.
Nice. Next, would you like to share a fun experience you had in college?
Sure. I had lots of fun in college, but I'd say my most fun experience overall that spanned 4 years was my participation in a group called Beats, which stood for Banging Everything at Tufts. It was a drumming group where we played drums on, trash or recycled materials, like Home Depot buckets, trash cans, pots and pans, and things like that. So we had shows at Tufts, around the community in elementary schools, and we had special shows just for Beats in December of every year and on 4/20 of every year. And it was a really awesome experience. There were 12 of us. I was in it all 4 years, super goofy. And yeah, some of my best friends I made playing trash drums in that group.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was very silly.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the more jargony questions. In what ways did the university's culture and values contribute to your overall learning experience? Can you share a specific example that shows this influence?
Sure. So as a pre-med, I knew that I would need to do the required classes like bio, chemistry, orgo, physics, and I knew that I wanted to do well to get into medical school. But Tufts being a liberal arts school with requirements in arts, literature, and language, I ended up taking really fun classes that were completely unrelated to my major every semester. That really influenced my learning and how I am as a person and a student. So I took creative writing. I took Kathak, which is a North Indian dance. I took multiple religion classes. My senior year, I took a class called Gender, Justice, and True Crime. I also took, Latin American studies classes. So really, I tried to fix my schedule such that I had room to do something that I would enjoy and not bog me down with STEM and STEM and STEM every single semester. And I think going to a school like that just sort of forced you to step back and think about other classes that weren't just within your major really made me a more well-rounded person and just a better student. And importantly, also, I think I just was a better friend. I had some things in school that were uplifting and fun and classes I could look forward to that weren't just, organic chemistry lab or physics lab and things that were really boring and sad for me.
Yeah, I can relate to that, honestly. I think I set up my schedule junior year, with a lot of AP classes, and I made sure to leave a couple fun classes in there too, just because I know that during my day I'm always looking forward to those fun classes. So.
Exactly. I think it's great. And especially at Tufts, being a somewhat small school, those STEM classes can get larger. And so having a space where it was just a classroom of 10 or 15 people was really important for me. And I think a really unique experience at a smaller campus.
Yeah, easy way to make new friends.
For sure.
That's really cool. Given the rapidly changing job market, how well did your alma mater prepare you for the challenges and opportunities in your field? Are there specific skills or experiences you found particularly valuable?
Yeah, so at Tufts, I was able to find a lot of research opportunities. I think that was one of the biggest ways to prepare me for medical school and also my job post-grad, which was in a clinical research lab. I first worked in a small lab in the psych department for a semester. It was the spatial cognition laboratory. So that was interesting. But then the big opportunity came my senior year when I did an internship part-time at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, in the Women's Hormones and Aging Research Program. So being at a big university like Tufts really allowed me to like learn research methods in real life or in like the practical field rather than just in the classroom. And then of course those connections in, at least in Boston, in the big hospital lab, really I think helped boost my application to medical school. So for me, I would say that was the biggest thing as a pre-med. Of course, when you're applying to medical school, at the end of the day, it's GPA, classes, pre-med courses, and the other things like extracurriculars, and research only like boost your application. That doesn't make or break it. But I do think Tufts really helped me in that way.
Yeah, and it's also more than just the application; it's also the experience and like getting out there. So yeah, that's great.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Universities often pride themselves on fostering critical thinking. Can you share an instance where your education at Tufts challenged your assumptions and led to a shift in your perspective?
Sure, I've been thinking a lot about this question. I think it's excellent. And I just want to say that I started college at sort of this critical turning point in the United States because Trump was elected president in freshman fall, and it sort of felt like the whole world just crumbled. I was 18 years old, so it was a really big shift. Going into college before then, I had, voted once in a local election. I had participated in like maybe a handful of protests at most, but Tufts being a politically active college, like really impacted and changed the way I view social action. And learning that just like students at Tufts want their voices to be heard. So I don't know, I saw comfort in knowing that my peers were like taking measures to protect students and protect workers on our campus. And over the 4 years I was there, I ended up participating in like numerous school protests. There was, like marches to support undocumented students. We did protests to divest from fossil fuels. There was a big effort to support dining hall workers, for their unionization effort. And that was just a really big thing that I got involved in on my campus, which was a socially active and politically active campus. Also with like the support of just socially active peers, I ended up getting involved in some local politics. And I remember I knocked on doors in Somerville in like the pouring rain one fall evening to gather support for like a question on the ballot that would prohibit discrimination based on gender identity. Things like that, where without Tufts, like, I mean, would I have the same views I have now? Probably. But being with peers who inspired me to take that amount of action, however small it was like very imperative to my experience there.
That's cool. So you didn't feel like you were in a bubble. Like you guys were constantly in touch with the outside world, and
I would say so, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really nice. So next up, university environments often encourage innovation and creativity. Can you share a project or initiative you were involved in that allowed you to apply your knowledge in a practical and innovative way?
Sure. This is kind of a stretch response, I would say, but I wanted to share about my experience being on a wilderness pre-orientation trip at Tufts. So 5 days before real school starts, you can be placed in these pre-orientation groups, and I chose a wilderness one. So I was placed in a group with 9 other first years, and we did backcountry canoeing in remote Maine. Before then, I had never camped before, really. I didn't own hiking boots. Like, this was totally new to me. And there we were, like, sleeping under tarps and drinking lake water, which we, disinfected. It was super, super new to me. But I ended up making some of my best friends on that trip. And then I applied to be on staff to, like, help run the program. And my junior and senior summers, I led backpacking trips for the incoming first years. So I guess this is sort of where I was applying this knowledge, in my life is that being pre-med, I wanted to be prepared to understand what it means to, like, I don't know, be medically prepared for any scenario, right? So I was in the remote wilderness. I needed to be certified in wilderness first aid. And I was able to get these hands-on skills and like practical experience and knowledge. It made me feel confident for school, for being in medical school, for life. And of course on actual trips, I like only ever dealt with like blisters, bug bites, sore muscles, thankfully. But I got this like taste of real wilderness medicine as an undergrad, which I think that I otherwise really would not have seen or interacted with until I got to medical school. And that was just a really awesome way to, like, I don't know, validate the fact that, yes, like, I do want to be a doctor, or I do want to be in the medical field, or actually, no, I don't want to spend any more time outside again. So I think, like, whatever it was in the pre-orientation group that, like, allowed me to make my friends, it also pushed me to get involved in something brand new that, I don't know, now I can look back on and be like, yeah, I was a little bit prepared for medical school.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story, actually. So I guess last question here as we wrap up. How safe did you feel on the campus?
I felt very safe on Tufts campus. It is small enough where you can walk from one side of the campus to the other in, like, I would say 12 minutes. And there were always people around, so definitely felt safe.
All right. That's good to hear. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. I really appreciated chatting with you.
All right, bye.